happy cheers erupted in the courtroom after the verdict was announced.
So she walked into another person's apartment.
Yes.
And a black man was in his apartment.
Yes, sitting there eating ice cream or something.
And then claimed that she thought he was in her apartment.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's, I'm going to go ahead and agree with the verdict.
Yes, me too.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Now, the cheering will subside if the sentencing is on the low end.
Yes. And I mean, I hope that it's not. You know, a lot of people, because she was a former police officer, she's a white female, I think a lot of people thought that she wasn't going to be convicted of murder, and now a lot of people think that she'll get a light sentence, but I hope that she doesn't.
Was she claiming she was, like, impaired, drunk, or anything like that?
No, I think that she was just saying she believed it was her apartment. She was shocked. She felt, threatened when she walked in and saw somebody in her apartment. How do you not know? I mean, why is your first reaction to shoot the person?
She's a former police officer.
But the second you walk in to that person's apartment, the second you walk in, you know that is not your place.
Unless, like Stoney said, she's,
Right, because I could see if she was, wasted or something, she walked into the wrong, door or whatever, that happened. But
I don't know what her intent was. I don't know if she was looking to. It doesn't. Even if her intent were 100% innocent, like I really did think I was in my apartment, you still have to put her in jail. I mean, you can't just go walking into people's apartments and killing people.
No, exactly.
Have you ever opened the door to a incorrect car?
Oh my gosh, I've never done it, but I have walked up to a door and pulled pulled on the handle. I was like, oh my gosh, not my car. Woo.
I opened up the door to a car one time.
It was
not
unlocked?
my car. Yeah, it was unlocked.
Oh my gosh.
And I knew within 1.5 of a second it was not my car. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I was like, woo, this is not my car.
And you shut the door and you
that's
leave.
a car. And all cars are built the same way. I mean, not all cars, but I mean, if you have the same kind of car that I have, or you have, whatever. Whereas apartments, you can say all apartments are built the same way, but come on.
No. I mean,
the
right
clue
away.
for you is when they had the beads and the air freshener different than what you have.
Exactly. And I'd have huge headspace.
Yeah.
My seat was weighted.
Yeah.
Exactly. There was no dice in that car.
Yeah.
Goodness. So the White House might need to call an exterminator because there could be a mouse problem in the White House. Yesterday, the press went into a frenzy after this mouse actually fell from the ceiling of the briefing room onto a reporter's lap. Right onto his lap, and then it ran behind a shelf, and then some reporters actually tried to catch it, but it ran under a door, and then it went into another room, and it got away.
Yes, I heard about this. And Peter Alexander was a reporter it fell on.
Yes.
NBC.
In Northwestern Marquette. Listen, I'm a big fan of the president. See, like I love everything about the White House. So I've read about it. The place is kind of a pit. I mean, it's this glorious symbol of democracy, and yet some of the offices these people work in are like boiler rooms, etc. So it doesn't stun me that there's a mouse in the
But
White
the
House.
fact that it actually fell right onto this guy's lap,
Yes.
I would be freaking out.
Well, the way our building is smoldering right now, Heather,
Get out of
the
here.
roof could be falling on you at any moment.
I'd be done.
Maybe, in fact,
I wouldn't be coming back tomorrow.
It's a fried mouse.
Maybe a mouse got in, yeah.
Well, that's okay.
We have a situation here at the radio station where there's about 96 fire trucks outside, and there's a definite bad smell, like smoky smell going on.
Yeah, I hope it's not a mouse. Oh, maybe. I guess I wouldn't mind. Whatever.
As long as the mouse is dead, is what you're saying.
Yeah. So, a Madison Heights man decided to show off his flexibility when he was pulled over for drunk driving. So, it started off like any other typical traffic stop. Police pulled him over and asked to see the man's ID when he said, oh, I don't have any ID on me. He didn't have a driver's license on him. And so then it went from there, and the officer decided to ask the guy how much he had to drink.
You think you're in any condition to do some field sobriety tests for me real quick?
If you want me to.
I mean, are you going to be able to walk a straight line?
Yeah, I think I could, sir.
You think you could?
I mean, if you want me to, I will.
Okay, don't fall over on me. Pay attention to what I'm saying.
Not that.
Just pay attention to what I'm saying, okay? Sir, sir, that's probably true. Just pay attention to what I'm saying, okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to have you do a couple tests for me, all right?
Sorry.
So, here's where you're going to start. Just keep your hands at your side. Keep your hands out of your pocket. Keep your hands at your side.
Okay.
At your side, okay? Now, legs, any injuries, anything like that?
I think so. I can go like this.
Okay, that's very impressive. Stand up for me, okay?
So this guy decided to bust out the splits during his sobriety test, and that's what he did. When the officer asked if he had any leg injuries, he was like, "Oh no, watch this," and that's what he did. Just busted out the splits.
That's impressive.
And
I
that's what
can't
the
do that.
officer said. The officer was like, "Wow, that is impressive." However, by the time he got through his breathalyzer, which took him about 5 attempts to complete, he was about 3 times over the legal limit.
He didn't sound it.
Yeah. Not
He
Didn't
sounded.
give it away at all, did he? No. This was his 8th DUI.
I give credit to the officer for having the patience, because I would have been about 10 seconds into the sobriety test. I would have been like, "Yeah, come on, we're done with this." Because I mean, it was obvious. But hey, you can do
Yep,
splits.
yep, he can. So a man was actually severely burned after falling into a hot spring at Yellowstone's Old Faithful. This actually happened on Sunday night. This 48-year-old man told park rangers that he plunged into the thermal water after he obviously left the boardwalk where you're supposed to stay and ventured off alone without a flashlight. And after he fell in, he did go back to his hotel room where he later called for help, and he had to be taken to the hospital for severe burns.
So he fell in,
Yes.
got out,
Yes.
felt like he was okay, went back to the hotel, and then called the hospital.
Yeah. And when the Rangers were investigating, they did find the man's shoe, a hat, and a beer can near the geyser, and they also saw some blood as well. So he must have hurt himself.
Have you ever been in a hot spring before?
I have been in a hot spring.
Pretty cool.
It is really, really cool.
Hey, you're like, what's this? All of a sudden, you're like, you know,
It's
it feels like somebody really peed in the water, but it's not. It's all natural.
right. It's very neat. But this is obviously very, very
Is
hot.
it more
Very hot.
warm or hot?
Warm.
It's warm. It's like a hot tub, but maybe not quite as hot.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're in regular water,
Right.
and then all of a sudden it just starts to get really warm as you head towards whatever. What is it? Like the heating geyser, magma,
I don't
whatever
know
it is.
how it's created, but
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
It's very cool. So a Florida woman was arrested after using her boyfriend's head as an ashtray.
Head?
His head. His forehead, to be specific.
So it wasn't severed.
No.
Oh, okay. I
No,
was
she didn't cut the
picturing.
head off
Okay.
and then use it as an ashtray.
I
She
see.
used it as it was connected to his body.
Put the cigarette in the eye socket, anything like that?
She actually put the cigarette right out on his forehead during an argument that they had. And she
Wow.
was arrested for domestic battery.
I would say so.
She did admit to putting the cigarette out on his head, and she's now been ordered to have no contact as well with the victim.
Does the victim have the worst reflexes in the history of mankind? I mean, if a cigarette was coming at my head, wouldn't the natural reaction to be to bring
Duck or
no,
go.
bring your hand up and
Yes.
swipe away the cigarette that was coming towards your head?
You would think,
move your head.
something
Yeah.
you would get out of the way, but
I would think. I don't
no.
think, unless he was also under the influence.
Yeah,
of
maybe he
something.
wasn't really expecting it and didn't think she would actually follow through with it.
I wouldn't take that chance.
Right under his forehead. So a woman's headache turned out to be a brain leak caused by a Pilates accident.
Ooh.
Yeah, so right now there's this report going on in the Journal of Medicine case reports about this woman. She's 42 years old who wound up with a serious brain injury from Pilates. So she was back in a Pilates class in 2014. She was doing some sort of move when she felt her neck pop.
Ooh.
Yeah, and an hour later she started having severe headaches that just wouldn't go away. She couldn't get them to go away, and doctors finally figured out that she was having a brain leak about a month later. The good news is that they were able to treat this brain leak, and her headaches finally did go away, but they say this is the first Pilates injury reported that caused a serious head injury.
Her neck is stuck.
The first Pilates injury ever?
Of this kind.
Okay.
Not
caused
injury,
headaches,
yes,
yeah.
that caused a brain leak or a serious brain injury.
Have you ever done Pilates, Heather?
I never have.
I have, actually.
You've done Pilates.
I have. My
Isn't
wife
it
does it
kind
a
of
lot.
like it's a
Yeah, so does
slower it's a slower exercise, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
but
it's like
it's-
about
you can,
stretching and
Stretch, yeah.
see, like that's I want to like a hardcore workout. I want to be dripping in sweat.
Okay. Well, you wouldn't be dripping in sweat doing Pilates.
No, I mean
But
I
it's
try
a
it.
very slow, yes. It's,
Well, I don't like yoga either.
I'm like the least flexible person of all time, and so I
Oh,
like
no,
this.
you're not.
I bet you we could have a flexibility contest. I don't know what that would.
Challenge on.
I don't know what that would look like. It'd be
Touch your
very weird,
toes,
but,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
All right, Heather, thank you. Coming up next, the Wide Nine. We will talk about the Lions, Michigan, and Michigan State. Can Michigan State's defense hold up against the Buckeyes? That's next on 97.1 The Ticket.
Hey, if you want to get away, relax, just simply have a good time, get to the D Las Vegas for everything you need. The D renovated so you can enjoy all the comforts of a high-end Las Vegas hotel without missing out on all the high gaming energy and nightlife you want. Of course, in downtown Vegas, the odds are always better than they are at the Strip. And something brand new downtown, Circus Sports, now open at the Golden Gate Hotel and Casino right down the street from the D Las Vegas in downtown Las Vegas. Now, Jamie mentioned the Ohio State game. You want to bet on it? Go to the Circa. Remember, for the best steak in Vegas, at least downtown Vegas, you have Andiamo Italian Steakhouse right at the D, or American Coney Island for something a little more casual. The staff will set you up with golf if that's your fancy, because they have great golf courses in Vegas, and the staff at the D, like I said, they know where to get you the tee times. But for all the fun and hanging out at the Long Bar, all the big TVs, watching all the games you won, and the owner of the D is Derek Stevens. He's a Detroiter. If you see him there, tell him we sent you, and he just might get you a cocktail. It's the D.com. Book a room today. The D.com. The D Las Vegas. Your home for Detroit sports in Las Vegas.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
This report brought to you by Semca, M59 Hall Road east of Shaner and Sterling Heights. An accident is still working to clear from the median. You'll also find some heavier traffic now, building in pockets 96 eastbound from US 23 to Novi Road and 75 southbound between 14 and 8 Mile. Fiat Chrysler Automobiles is hosting a professional skilled career fair tomorrow, October 3rd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Go to Oakland County, Michigan Works at 550 Stevenson Highway north of 14 Mile Road in Troy. That's a professional skilled career fair tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 550 Stevenson in Troy. FCA is an equal opportunity employer. I'm Michelle Pena in the WWJ 24-hour traffic center.
97.1 The Ticket would like to remind you that when you text the ticket, standard text messaging rates apply.
With the CBS Sports Minute. As the new NHL season begins, the best off-season moves include Dallas's free agent signing of Joe Pavelski. The 35-year-old is coming off of a 38-goal season. Arizona also made a splash by trading for forward Phil Kessel, who gets today's birthday shout-out, by the way, so happy 32nd birthday to the Thrill. Toronto strengthened their back line by acquiring Tyson Barrie from Colorado. And Florida locked down its goaltending by inking two-time Vezina Trophy winner Sergei Bobrovsky. The biggest moves, though, happened right here in the metropolitan New York area. The Devils drafted campus center Jack Hughes with the overall #1 pick and added star power by trading for defenseman PK Subban. Last but certainly not least, my New York Rangers have accelerated their rebuild by signing Russian winger Artemi Panarin and drafting Finnish phenom Capo Kakko second overall, one draft spot after Jack Hughes. Let's go Rangers, it's going to be quite the year. Eager to drop the puck on Boomer Esiason.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. I've got great news. Mortgage interest rates have dropped. So if you're thinking about buying a home, right now is the time to lock that low rate, even before you find the home of your dreams. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Saving is easy with Spectrum Mobile. Unlike other providers, you can actually mix and match our unlimited and by the gig data plans so you can build the perfect family plan that fits everyone's needs. Unlimited nationwide talk and text is always included. See for yourself with the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator. Go to spectrummobile.com/save and see how you can save up to 40% or more. Plus, you can change plans without penalty and there are no added taxes, fees, or contracts. Visit spectrummobile.com/save. Restrictions apply. Check for details.
Help Mother Waddles to help those in need by donating your car. Your car donation to Mother Waddles will provide food and shelter to the poorest of the poor. Call Mother Waddles today and change a life. Call 313-WADDLES.
Parents, do you want to save your child's life? 97.1 The Ticket Student Heart Check can help. Make the time to have your child checked. Contact the Ernst Cardiovascular Center at Beaumont Hospital in Royal Oak. Learn more at 971theticket.com. The Tigers, Red Wings, and Pistons all play here. 97.1 The Ticket.
Time for the Wide Nine. We do it every Wednesday. We look back, we look ahead, we talk some football with the Gov himself, Thomas J. Milliken III. Tom, what do you got for us, buddy boy?
All right, guys. Brian Lewerke looked good on Saturday, but the Spartans' defense got owned by redshirt freshman quarterback Michael Penix Jr. Are you concerned about Michigan State's defense as they head to Columbus this Saturday night?
Yes, very concerned.
What the heck was that?
I have no idea.
It was something about Indiana that they do this to Michigan State.
Yes, and they do to Michigan too. Indiana is a thorn in the side of a lot of teams but they never actually win the game.
Right.
They come very close, but they never actually win the game. But yeah, so I'm concerned about the secondary. I really am, because it looked like Penix was really picking on the secondary, and we thought this was going to be the strength, the historically good Michigan State defense. I think the silver lining, though, is that the offense looked good, and you mentioned, I think Lewerke has kind of gotten into a bit of a groove here.
Yeah, Penix was great. You know, even the long passes to his really good wide receivers. So and they went after Josiah Scott a little bit. So yeah, but the answer is definitely yes. You know why? Because any defense I'd be concerned about going to Columbus. They are a freaking machine right now. Fields throwing the ball, Fields running the ball, and Dobbins is a great running back. Any team's defense I'd be concerned about.
Very quickly, over-under. Ohio State scores more than 30 points.
Over.
Jamie, I think the Shane's defense comes.
Yeah, I do too.
All right, Michigan manhandled Rutgers 52-0. Not one Michigan fan I've talked to took any solace in the win. Do you think this win will kickstart the offense as the Wolverines enter October?
A little bit. I mean, they had everybody healthy, the wide receivers for the first. I mean, DPJ played against Wisconsin, but he wasn't 100%. The key, though, is going to be the offensive line, especially this week against Iowa. A.J. Pins is one of the best defensive linemen in the country. If Shane Patterson has time, he can be effective. If he doesn't have time, he gets scattered, and he throws the ball in weird places, and they have to be able to run the ball. So I think it'll kickstart him a little bit, but other than that, Saturday was nothing.
Yeah, I agree. And it's one of my big beefs with college football. We talk about it so much. It goes year-round, and they play 12 games, and 8 of the games just don't matter. You know what I mean? Like, Michigan's season boils down to a few games, and Saturday's game against Rutgers was not one of them. So, yes, it's nice for them. I'm sure they feel good, but it means nothing.
All right, Jamie, I'm sorry to bring this up, but I was watching it live, and I just was dumbfounded. Northwestern trailed 24-3 on Saturday at Wisconsin and decided to go for 2. They did it. They didn't get it. Then they scored again, and they tried for 2 again and didn't get it. And so they were down 24-15, and they didn't have a chance to really win the game at that point. Pat Fitzgerald cited analytics as the reason behind the decision. Are you buying?
No, Pat Fitzgerald messed up, plain and simple. The first one, okay, I get it. The second one, inexcusable, because you kick an extra point there and you're down 8. You're down 1 score. And Northwestern actually got the ball back at the end of the game with a chance to tie the game. And because of his boneheaded decision, it's because of John Harbaugh. And that was his explanation after the game. Well, look at what John Harbaugh said. I agree with that. No, John Harbaugh didn't say that. John Harbaugh would have kicked the extra point. It was moronic.
I agree. He should have gone for it the first time, not the second time. The other thing, though, is if you do the math, okay, so it's 24-3. If you're thinking that Wisconsin's not even going to score, then you do what you did, or you don't do what you did. But if you think, okay, they might kick a field goal, so if they score 27, you're going to need.
This is so overthinking it.
Well, that's why
you do what North Carolina did. If you want to go for the win, you wait until the end.
I don't know why people devalue points in football. I really don't. It's one of my great mysteries.
I heard if Harbaugh was coaching against him in this game, he would have said no to score. All right, Clemson hung on to win by 1 point at Chapel Hill on Saturday. Meanwhile, Tua Tagovailoa was putting up 6 touchdowns against Ole Miss, and Justin Fields put up a near-perfect 99 QBR at Nebraska. Who is the best team in the country right now?
It's Alabama. I think they played a better schedule than Ohio State. I'm assuming that people think that Ole Miss and South Carolina and Duke are better than Indiana, Nebraska, and Cincinnati. I just think Alabama all around is a little better than
if I had to pick a team who I think is the best, I'll say Alabama as well. Ohio State looks damn good, but they haven't played anybody.
Yeah, I think a little overreaction from last week as to Ohio State was in prime time, that everybody all of a sudden vaulting them.
And they think Nebraska's actually any good.
Right. The Lions are 2-1-1 at the quarter point of the season. Nobody thought they'd be better than 2-2, but the tie in Arizona against the 0-3-1 Cardinals sticks out like a sore thumb. Are you willing to forgive the tie and never bring it up in hindsight again this season?
Do you listen to sports talk radio? Are you crazy? Do you know Lions fans?
Nobody said they'd be better than 2-2.
I know, but when you have the chance to do something special, and I'm not saying you even have that chance, but if it comes down to it, down the stretch, you're saying it's not going to come out. If they miss the playoffs by a half a game,
I'm going to forgive it because I never thought they'd beat the Eagles and Chargers.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to forgive it. I'll forgive it right.
Hindsight, Stoney number one.
I'll forgive it right now, but if it comes down to, as Jamie said, that they lose a playoff spot by half a game, absolutely sit there and forgive it. It's going to come up anyway, because when you look about not just that game that they blew, but how bad the freaking Cardinals are, that's why it's going to come up.
Oh, we know it's going to cost them the nation. I mean, that's
because they're the Lions.
give me the number one reason why the Lions are, quote, better this season than last year.
There are a lot of reasons, but I'm going to make it simplistic. Stafford.
Yes.
He's been much better than he was last year. Every game, he had the 2 picks against the Chargers. He's been really, really good.
I figured you might say something like that, Stafford or Darrell Bevel, so I'm going to go in a different direction and say depth. You look at who didn't play on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs, and look at how close they came to beating the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, Darius Slay out. I thought they had no shot to win that game, and they were right there, and you can almost argue that they should have won that game. So this is the methodical way that Quinn and Patricia have kind of built the roster up, and the offensive line. I mean, they're playing pretty well, and that's
Especially last week.
Yeah.
They looked good last week. I was very impressed. The Saints are 2-0 the past 2 weeks without Drew Brees. In those 2 wins, they've worn their throwback all-white uniforms. What is the best alternate jersey in the NFL?
The Detroit Lions. I love the alternate jersey. I'll also put the helmet of the New England Patriots. Pat Patriot. I love when they wear the red uniforms with the white helmet and Pat Patriot. So those are my 2.
My 2 are, I agree with you, I love the Lions throwbacks that they wore on Sunday, and you don't wear them all the time, a couple times a year. My Charger baby blues, the powder blue Chargers are the best uniforms.
All right, what's the next best?
But is that their full-time uniform?
No.
Oh, it's not?
No, they still wear the dark blue.
According
I
to
think
Paul
at home.
Sarah, that is their uniform. Dark blue's out.
Dark blue's out?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's their uniform, Stoney.
I actually like the Bears from Sunday. I thought I liked to have the helmet. Was kind of cool. They look sharp.
I thought they were solid. All right, the 49ers are the lone undefeated team in the NFC, and they've already had their bye week. Who is the best team in the NFC right now?
I think it's the Saints, because when Breeze comes back, I think the offense will even get better, and their defense is the most underrated thing about them, and I think maybe the most underrated unit in the NFC. Saints defense.
Underrated units. I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. I know they had a stumble against your Saints on Sunday night, but teams are going to lose. I think when all the quote-unquote Pistons are firing on that team, and Dak Prescott has really surprised me how well he's played. So I'm going to go with the how about them Cowboys?
All right, guys, the Bears have all the makings of an all-time generational defense. I'm talking like the 2000 Ravens, maybe the 85 Bears. Let's temper that a little bit for now. Their offense is struggling, and Mitchell Trubisky could be out for an extended period of time. Regardless of his injury, should the Bears make a trade for Eli Manning or maybe an available Andy Dalton? Or should they look to sign a guy who would fit their offense probably perfectly, Colin Kaepernick?
No. I'm going to say no to all of the above. No, and no. I mean, the Kaepernick thing is like, come on. Let's be honest. I mean,
This is a fit, though, I think.
I know, but it's not going to happen. I mean, we're wasting our breath here. They signed Chase Daniel as the backup to Mitchell Trubisky, so why would they go out and get Kaepernick now?
I guess my question, let's just read the cut between the lines. Mitchell Trubisky is going to cost one of the great defenses a chance to
something? No, they shouldn't go for either Eli Manning or Andy Dalton for the reason you want Kaepernick. Either of those quarterbacks does not fit this offense. They're going to try to find somebody like a Case Keenum type, and somebody who's a little mobile, somebody like that who fits their offense. Eli Manning in that offense, please.
How about a bold move? Stafford. Lions. Hey, listen, Patricia's here to win a Super Bowl. He's not here to just get into the playoffs. Trade Stafford for a bunch of number ones, built for the future.
They should bring back Jay Cutler.
Oh, yeah?
He'd be an upgrade.
KC where they're at.
Mark my words, though. Mitchell Trubisky is costing the Bears their window and their opportunity to win, period, end of story.
But if that's the truth, you might be right.
Don't make a move. I don't know what the right guy is to make it.
No, I'm saying because Mitchell Trubisky might cost the Bears and the Lions and the NFC.
Yeah, when he said period end of story, that defense is too good. I don't think it's period end of story. I think you could be looking at a Trent Dilfer situation.
I think
that's that defense.
I think I just don't think he's. I think he's going to cost him. He's so bad. He's
Brad Johnson.
Brad Johnson. Oh my God, he owns Mitchell Trubisky.
They might have the answer already in Chase Daniel.
Let's do a Twitter poll. Who's a better quarterback, Brad Johnson or Mitchell Trubisky?
Oh, Brad Johnson. One of my favorite analysts. He always says all these defensive teams when they make the playoffs. Steve Young. Eventually, you got to score in the playoffs, and it cost him last year. It's the red herring. He'll never get better. It sucks. He wasn't worth the pick. And what a bunch of boneheads for not taking Patrick Mahomes and staying put in the draft.
That's the Wide 9 on 97.1 Ticket.
WXYT FM and WXYT HD1 Detroit. A radio.com sports station. Sports headlines. All day, every day. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
Brought to you by Kroger. Let's stay with the NFL as the Lions are in the bye week this week. Downtime that head coach Matt Patricia says will be good as players and coaches enter a period of self-scouting in an effort to correct the flaws that have cropped up in the first 4 games of the season.
Bye week coming up is a good time for us to, really go back and look at the games that we played. We're 4 games in, and most teams will, take a look at those 4 games as we go forward as the breakdown when they're trying to evaluate us and see things that we've done well and things that we've done not so well. So we got to improve those things that we haven't been very good at and move forward from there and continually just try to get better as a team. And that'll be our mindset going forward.
The first game out of the bye week for the Lions, a Monday nighter against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field, October 14th. The Washington Nationals knock off the Milwaukee Brewers 4-3 in last night's National League wildcard game in Washington. Next up for the Nationals, they'll square off against the Los Angeles Dodgers in the Divisional Series round. Game 1 of that series tomorrow night in Los Angeles. Tonight, it's the American League wildcard game, which will feature the Oakland A's battling the Tampa Bay Rays. First pitch from Oakland at 8:08. Regular season officially begins tonight in the NHL as there are 4 games this evening on the schedule. The Red Wings won't play until Saturday night when they head to Nashville for a game against the Predators. Today, also another practice day for Michigan and Michigan State as those teams continue to get ready for a pair of challenging Big Ten games on Saturday. The Spartans head to Columbus for a battle against number 4 Ohio State. The Wolverines will take on number 14 Iowa at the Big House. Meanwhile, the Heisman Trophy won by Ricky Williams back in 1998, now being auctioned off by Brian Hobbs, the private collector who bought the trophy from Williams 5 years ago. It's expected the sale of that Heisman could net Hobbs more than $500,000. From the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Tony Ortiz. For more, stay tuned to 97.1 The Ticket and radio.com.
Jamie and Stoney on 97.1 The Ticket.
Jamie and Stoney on 97.1 The Ticket. There are few better, some would argue there's none better than Nicholas Lidstrom, the great Red Wing, the Hall of Famer. Number 5 hangs from the rafters, multiple-time Stanley Cup champion, multiple-time Norris Trophy winner, and one of the Red Wings' great captains as well. Just one of the all-time best. The book is out, Nicholas Lidstrom, The Pursuit of Perfection, along with Gunnar Nordstrom and Bob Duff. Nicholas will be in Detroit this weekend, Friday, October 5th, 7 o'clock p.m. at the Barnes & Noble in Allen Park. Saturday, October 5th at noon at Meyer in Madison Heights on 13 Mile. And then Sunday at 1 o'clock, perfect for the Lions bye, at Barnes & Noble on Haggerty Road in Northville.
And I'm sure it'll be at the Little Caesars Arena